Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest of the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so today I have Kashif Ali on the line, and he's CEO and founder over at TaxGPT. Cash, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about today. So we'll get into how AI is boosting productivity for tax professionals and businesses. But before we do that, we'll start this episode the way that we start them all with what we like to call our Mission Matters Minute. So Cash, at Mission Matters, our aim and our goal is to amplify stories for entrepreneurs, for executives, for experts. That's what we do. Cash, what mission matters to you?
At TaxGPT, our mission is to democratize access to tax information. The problem is that tax code is very complex, 75,000 pages. And it is very hard for business owners and professionals to make it make sense of all the rules that are written. So we started with this mission, and we are solving problems to make taxes easier for everyone and increasing the productivity and capacity of professionals. The problem with accounting today is also another problem on the side is that there is a shortage of accountants in the country and not enough new people joining the profession. So it's a two-way stress. So we make taxes work for them and get rid of all the redundant work that they do and increase their productivity 5 to 10x.
Yeah. It's great, Cash. Love bringing mission-based individuals on here to share, how they do what they do, what they're doing, and really what we can all learn from it. So we all grow together. So great having you on. So we'll definitely get into Tax GPT. I want to get into that, especially how you're saving prep time, and also how you're working with business owners and also accounting firms. But then you also have a little bit of or I shouldn't say a little bit. You also have a B2C component too, where there's individual preparers that can or individuals that can file as well. So we'll get into that and more. But before we do, I see the term founder. So you're a founder. Like, where'd this entrepreneurial, where'd this come from? Being an entrepreneur, were you always into it, or give me a little bit of the backstory?
Yeah, it's in the blood. I was the first one in the family. My father was a farmer. All of my uncle, my grandfather, everyone. I was the first one in the family to finish high school, college, university, and get a first professional job. I studied accounting in college, but pivoted after 2 years to graduate in journalism. I worked as a journalist for 6 years. And later on, I learned to code and switched my career into tech. I worked for Adobe. And then I started two other companies. And those were not in AI, in other fields that did not go very well. And I was trying to close those companies down. And at that time, I was recently got married. My wife and I was also trying to figure out how do we need to file taxes together or separately? And all of these tax questions, and we were not getting any straight answers. And after a couple of hours of research, I was like, has to be something that is simple in life.
Yeah.
And let's try to make taxes simple. So that's how TaxGPT was born. The first version of that we end up going in and creating in a couple of days and launching it.
Wow.
That went viral, and within 4 weeks, we like 5,000 users registered, and like since then we've been onto this mission.
That's an amazing story, and it kind of went viral. Like, but before I want to get into it, but I want to stay like something you said a little bit earlier in your journey. I want to get into that a bit more. So, what was it like to go from journalism to tech, like to make that shift? Like, what was that like for you?
It was okay. There is a lot of transferable skills. Um, a good software engineer need to communicate really well. That's 50% of the job. You need to understand what you are building and why you are building and for who and what. If you notice that these are 5 Ws and 1 H, we all read in journalism school, right?
Yeah.
Creating and understanding complex problems or subjects and breaking it down for masses That's
Mhm.
the job of a journalist. Like, so there was a lot of transferable skills like that that really helped me.
Mhm.
And and then later on, like, there is obviously a different way of thinking. Like, computer science is very unforgiving, 0 and 1. Like, when you know that you write a program, like 99% of the time you are making a mistake. So that was the frustrating
Mhm.
part. But
Yeah.
that transfer, this career change, all in all, took me a good a year to make that change.
Mm. And then you go into and then you start some businesses, yeah, and maybe some of those you mentioned didn't work out so well. Like what was that like, getting those first ventures off the ground and then having to pivot or continue moving through to something else? Like that can always be challenging. A lot of business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to this program.
Yeah, right after changing my career, I ended up working for Adobe. I
Mhm.
worked there as a software engineer for good, solution analyst for good 3 years,
Hmm.
and then I decided that I want to um, start my own business. By the way, I had like 50, $60,000 saved, and that was the most money I ever had.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I had three options: either buy a house,
Mhm.
or get an MBA,
Yeah.
or start a company.
Yeah. And your wife
And
let you start the company?
this was before I met my
Oh,
wife.
okay, got it. I was
This
about to
is
say,
2020.
she's the
And
MVP right
yeah,
there.
so I looked at all those three options, and I thought, okay, I'm too young. If
Mm.
I buy a house, the house will end up owning me. I will never leave a tech
Yeah.
job. And the second thing was, like, if I go get an MBA, I looked at the outline of the um, MBA programs, the top MBA programs in the world. Most
Mhm.
people go to get an MBA to get the network, not actually learn something.
Mm.
And the breaking point was, for me, was basic of finance, basic of human resource. Like, they're going to teach us in the MBA, and the
Mhm.
basics of entrepreneurship. And, like, that's not something that I don't know. I might be stubborn about this, but I don't think that you can teach entrepreneurship. An entrepreneur is either an entrepreneur or not,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Um, and I have, like, tons of failed attempts before that.
Mhm.
Probably, like, a lot. And so that was a breaking point for me. I was like, all right, why don't I learn by doing this, and
Wow. So that's
end up
kind of
starting my
like
first
funding
company.
your education by working
Exactly.
real. I'm sure at that point in time you weren't thinking, all right, I'm going to apprentice and spend this money experimenting. Obviously, you were, going for it, but I like I think I understand your mindset. I like it. It's good.
Yeah, and in a funny way, that I started the first company in 2020. I
Hmm.
scaled it into a services kind of firm. It was pretty reasonable, 10,
Hmm.
15,000 per month recurring. And then I built a product that didn't go very well. And by the 4 year mark that I hit, there's a lot of learnings. Things started to happen in a weird way. It felt like I'm getting my graduation now after 4 years,
Wow.
and burning through all of my savings and going under credit card debt and everything.
Oh, my heart hurts, but continue. I understand.
Yeah. And I want to go back to that point. Yes,
Yeah,
my
please.
wife is the real MVP.
Yes.
And we recently got married in 2022.
Mm.
And when I was starting this third company, I was also doing the job interviews. She was in between jobs also.
Mhm.
So we didn't had any, clear source of income.
Mhm.
And when things started to happening at TaxGPT, like, we went viral. I cold
Yeah.
email a lot of people, all of them, like, very famous people: Mark Cuban, Jason Calcanex, and they all replied, and started to fundraise. And she said, and I said, I'm so sorry. This is the start of the marriage, very early on, the first 6 months of the marriage. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but it looks like we got something here, and I'm gonna go build another company.
Mm.
And I joke about it that she said, "Oh God, here you go again." But honestly, but she said that when we were building Tax GPT, the
Mhm.
2 days when we were building the first version, I saw you the most happiest.
Wow.
So you go ahead and build this, and take it to the whatever, however long that you need to.
Mm,
And I'm gonna go get a secure job to have a, one source of income.
mm,
And I end up like, all right, I was like, okay, I have given myself 3 to 5 minutes, sorry,
mhm.
not 3 to 5 months.
Yeah.
That's how far of the runway I had. And I'm like, I'm going to go and kill it. And
Mm,
things started to happen. And we raised a lot more funding. And I needed a more technical founder. And she was
mhm,
helping me earlier on also, and then I was like, she is a great fit. She
mm,
went to Berkeley, worked for a big tech company, knows a
mhm.
lot about AI and cybersecurity, and I need a co-founder like that. So I convinced her to join the company full time
Wow.
instead of a secure job, and we've been at it together since then.
What an amazing story, man. I'm going on 7,000 interviews, Cash. I haven't heard one quite like this. This keeps me in the game right here. People ask me, like, how do you interview all those people? I'm like, every day there's something new. And then then that was so the first big sell was marriage. Second big sell was, join my company because I need a more technical founder, man. And you're good at sales, Cash.
I didn't realize that by that time. I've done a
Yeah.
lot of other jobs. Like my journalism
Mm,
skill set was very transferable into programming, but I
yeah.
picked up a lot of the related skill set like SEO and social media
Hmm.
marketing and PR during my journalism time.
Hmm.
I worked in a call center at one part of my life, so I had the customer service experience, but I
Yeah.
never actually done the sales until TaxGPT.
Wow.
And then I end up, learning to sell in this company, and I sold the first, I onboarded the first 100 plus customers by myself.
Wow. Amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
So now we're at the point in the story. So I know you mentioned you started it, you put it out there at first. I'm got the first version, we'll say, of this, and it starts taking off. You're raising money. Like, what happens next? Like, what happens next in the product development or otherwise?
Yeah. So the first version of TaxGPT was very consumer focused,
Hmm.
right? Um, so right after the tax season ended, we thought that user will stop coming
Hmm.
and we will build something for the next tax season. To our surprise, people still kept coming and kept using
Mm,
TaxGPT. So we started jumping on a call with them. We did close to 300 discovery calls with, and I was like, who are you? Why are you using TaxGPT? Turned
hmm.
out those were CPAs, enrolled agent, bookkeepers, tax professional, advisors, financial
Mm,
planners that were using TaxGPT as a research companion, replying to their client
mm.
emails, doing the tax research. So we
Oh,
pivoted the
so it
company.
started on the B2C. So first you were thinking it was going to be to solve the problem like individuals like yourself, right? Like you're
Yeah,
just trying
yeah,
to do it. And then you start doing these discovery calls. I just want to make sure I'm following. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. There might be a B2B play here. Am I hearing that right? I just want to,
yeah, yeah.
oh, please continue. I just want to make sure I understood. Mhm.
So we pivoted the company and we started creating the tools for professionals, and
Mm,
they started paying us, and we end up knowing more and more and more about the broken system.
mhm,
The accounting firms, and I use it loosely, accounting, tax, and advisory firms.
mhm.
There is no shortage of skills. The
Right.
system is broken. There are so many tools. On average, an average accounting firm has minimum 14 different tools, and the
Mm,
data is living in silos, 5 different places. And in order to find one piece of information, like you
mhm,
have to go 5 different systems and combine a create a story. So and this is just an example of one workflow. It, there is so many different tools that exist, but none of them actually does the job, right? So
mm,
we started building the automations. We built a system of record, client intelligence, where they can bring all of their client information, all the related documents, and
mm,
we know more about their clients than themselves, because it's not humanly possible to remember 75,000 pages of tax code and the state code and the tax law,
yeah.
and then remember everything about your customers. Um, and then we started building agents. Now we live in the age of AI agents. Our first agent was automating a tax preparation review, depending of the complexity of the tax it can save 30 to 4 hours on one
Mm.
review.
Wow.
Most accounting firm does 2 to 3 reviews. So we automate one review, and this is done by someone very senior.
Hmm.
Now we have created a tax preparation agent that actually grab the information from collected information and does emulate a human, spin up a
Hmm.
browser or use the something on your desktop, the tax software, whichever that you are using, and prepares a return. And that the
Mm.
time saving right there, depending of the complexity, it can be
Yeah.
once again 30 minutes to up to 5 6 hours, like 75 to 90% time savings that we are seeing in the
And when you
initial
think about
users.
like a larger firm or even a mid-sized firm like that, that equates to a lot of hours.
Yeah, yeah, that equates to a lot of hours and a lot of time saved. That's why the
Mm.
productivity is. And just on the research product,
Hmm.
if TaxGPT did not exist or any other AI tools, and previous way of doing things were you start doing research, you go in, you read 50 different publication, you
Wow.
synthesize that information, you make the opinion, apply that to your customer situation, and write a memo, send it to the customer. That can easily take 3 to 4 hours. In
Mm.
TaxGPT, people are doing it in 45 seconds,
Yeah.
right? So very similarly, like our goal.
Unbelievable. When you think about it now, though, Cash, you're like, versus then, amazing that work got done before, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
amazing. Like, continue, but wow, it just blows my mind. Hmm.
yeah. So that's what our goal is, to keep
Mm.
building this um, AI operating system
Yeah.
and workflows and agents for each workflow in any of the department. And first of all, get rid of all the redundant work, and
Hmm.
then the context aware AI in all the places where we can scale human judgment, and human in the loop is making the judgment calls, not
Yeah.
the AI.
Yeah. So looking at the overall market right now, whether it be, I don't know, TurboTax, Perplexity, but in general, where do you see Tax GPT fitting in the overall market? Like what makes this something that you feel is kind of moving the needle forward?
Yeah, TurboTax is more, and Perplexity is more consumer focused, right?
Mhm.
Um, and TurboTax is, there is not a lot of AI. It's
Yeah.
an incredible piece of software, but it will change a lot.
Mhm.
Um, in terms of what Perplexity has, and I will create this general category of um, horizontal models or
Mhm.
general purpose AI that are trying to do everything, right?
Mhm.
The problem there is the difference between them and us is that do not have the complete tax knowledge, right? And we have done this research and we have made it public.
Mhm.
We benchmark TaxGPT against all of the leading AI models out there. We are
Yeah.
passing the CPA exam with 97, 98% accuracy. They are passing the exam less than 90% accuracy. That
Mhm.
is one data point. Then we ask all of these models same 500 questions, and we ask them to provide us the sources.
Mhm.
That's where the difference becomes really stark. 50% of the sources that general purpose tools has
Mhm.
are hallucinated. They're pulling information from Wikipedia or news
Wow.
websites. And professionals know that these are not the primary sources of piece of information, right?
Mhm.
Like a
Mhm.
news report can is not a law, right?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
tax law is different. So the problem with general purpose tools is because the tax knowledge is faulty,
Mhm.
right? So you can't build reliable workflows on top of it. You can't build
Mm.
reliable agents on top of it, because one mistake can be very, very costly when
Yeah.
agent make that mistake, because it's very simple: garbage in, garbage out,
I was
right?
gonna say it all goes back to that, doesn't it?
Exactly. So that is one biggest reason that why people choose us, like
Mhm.
professionals choose us over any of the horizontal model. And then we
Mhm.
have security and compliance built in. We don't train on any of the customer information. That's a big
Mm.
thing for our users.
Yeah. Where so I know you do a lot, you're working with different types of firms. What kind of sizes of firms? Is it a specific size or otherwise, like who's typically a good fit to work with Tax GPT is what I'm getting at.
We sell it to small mom and pop shop all the way up to any big name that you can think of. Some of the
Mm,
names I can't name right
yeah,
now,
yeah,
but our solution and complexity of the product depends on the complexity of the firm operations, right?
mm,
It is We have sold it to small mom and pop shop to top 100 accounting firm. So
yeah.
yeah.
And then on the other side, the B2C side of it, there are still some tools available for the individual preparer. Did I catch that right?
For individual preparers, the professional product is the best product, but
Mhm.
for business owners and individuals and personal taxes,
Yeah.
we have a free product where they can sign up and ask uh, 25 questions, upload the document, do one tax review.
Hmm.
These are free because we stay true to our mission of democratizing access to tax information. We
Yeah.
don't monetize it. That the reason being, the insight that we have, most people don't have
Mm,
tax questions every day. Maybe five tax questions in it, maybe 10 or
mm,
scenario like that. So we give away 25 questions for free each year
mm.
for the users.
That's awesome. Cash, this has been a great story. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Hearing the startup, how you got started with this, how it went viral, and then how your wife joined on as a co-founder. I mean, this is just a great story all around. I got to ask, what's next? I mean, what's next for you? Give me the vision. What's next for TaxGPT?
I think I would give the vision in the twofold. At TaxGPT, we want to help accounting firm build one person, $1 million accounting practice,
Hmm.
and that is our in our roadmap in the next 3 years. We want to make this a reality, because all the productivity that we are creating and agents doing the work, uh, this becomes really possible. And then the long-term vision stay the same: democratizing access to tax information. Imagine every single dollar that you spend personally or on a business can be audited by TaxGPT, and we can tell you how to treat that dollar for the compliance purposes or for the credit purposes.
Hmm.
And when we include the access to tax information, we also not only including professionals or business owners or individuals, we also
Mhm.
include other AI agents into our addressable market. So that's the long-term vision, to create the best tax knowledge agent out there in the world.
Amazing. Great having you on today, Cash. How do people follow up? How do they learn more? How do they connect?
I believe this product can be used by everyone. So check us out at taxgpt.com and reach out to us. I'm available on LinkedIn, Twitter, most of the time, Twitter or X, whatever. People can reach out, and definitely check us out on taxgpt.com.
Fantastic. And for everybody watching, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so that you can just click on the links and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. You heard me right, daily. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So hit that subscribe or follow. And Cash, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you, Adam.